A lot of people have their different opinions on the Cristiano Ronaldo situation. Ex-players, angry fans, journalists, and even Erik ten Hag himself. There are those of the opinion that the greatest of all time should definitely be playing regularly, especially because he's carried the team throughout the last season, scoring 24 goals in all competitions. While there were those that say he should definitely play. But why is it not working out this season for Ronaldo? We know the reason why, and it's not what you think it is. If there is any player at Manchester United who knows how it looks and feels in the locker room when a legendary player messes up, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Only Cristiano Ronaldo of Manchester United is aware of how it seems and feels in the locker room when a renowned player crosses the line. As a 20-year-old, he witnessed Roy Keane ripping apart a number of his teammates, assistant coach Carlos Queiroz, and then Sir Alex Ferguson just before the captain's contract was terminated in November 2005. He was also there when, 6 months later, Ruud van Nistelrooy had a run-in with Ferguson and stormed out of the Old Trafford dressing room, never to be seen again. This time, Ronaldo is the culprit, and the whole world can't wait for this whole drama to disappear. It seems like ages ago now, when Ronaldo scored twice against Newcastle United in his first game back at Old Trafford less than 14 months ago. But the excitement quickly subsided as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign came to an end. Barely a year later, Ronaldo finds himself out of United's first squad list for yet another act of rebellion. He wasn't named on the United team to play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the weekend. He will train alone for now, until Erik ten Hag decides otherwise. The fact that the Old Trafford crowd paid little attention to Ronaldo's miserable trudge along the touchline on Wednesday night is maybe the most devastating aspect of all. The majority of the 73,677 fans were far too engrossed in United's performance, which was arguably the best they had seen in a long time. Maybe since Sir Alex left the club. So, not too many people noticed Ronaldo disappearing into the night as the game came to an end. The only exception was a group of young children sitting in the first row close to the tunnel, who held out their hands hoping to get a high five from Cristiano. However, Ronaldo ignored them and walked on past. He was on his way to his car by the time the final whistle had blown, and the result was confirmed. He can always rely on the support of his sizable fan base, who will believe that the lack of respect that has been shown to a player of his status more than justified the contempt he showed to Ten Hag and his teammates. However, the majority of people, his fans included, don't seem to offer much sympathy, even before it was revealed on Thursday night that he had refused to come on as a substitute in the dying minutes of the game. Before we take a look at what the future for Ronaldo will look like, we go back to his start under Ten Hag. During the first weeks of Ten Hag's regime, Ronaldo cast a shadow over United by pushing for a transfer in the summer. He also missed the pre-season tour of Thailand and Australia, walked out of the friendly match against Rayo, along with many other players it must be said, and then played poorly in the embarrassing 4-0 loss at Brentford before being benched, and now, it looks like he's pushed Ten Hag to the edge. In addition to making Ronaldo train alone, Ten Hag decided to leave him out of the team for the trip to Chelsea, and the club supported this decision. The Dutch manager has said so many times that he wants Ronaldo to be a part of what he's trying to do at United, but it has to be on his terms as manager. However, when you've played at the highest level and scored a lot of goals like Ronaldo has, it's become difficult to just sit on the bench and watch the younger players play. Ronaldo's probably on the bench thinking, these children couldn't lace my boots, but the fact still remains that he's part of a team, and he must show team spirit. This isn't the first time the Portuguese captain is doing something like that. In November 2019, while he was still at Juventus, Maurizio Sarri replaced Ronaldo with Argentina forward Paulo Dybala, who then scored the game-winning goal. Now, this was the second time Sarri was taking Ronaldo out of a game in less than a week, so of course, he looked dissatisfied when he was taken off. He immediately headed to the changing rooms, and Sky Italia reported after the match that Ronaldo had left the Juventus stadium before the full-time whistle. He wasn't suspended that time, but Ten Hag looks to be a very disciplined coach. He has come out to say that it is important for all players to have the right attitude, as that is the foundation of every good team. Ronaldo is quickly becoming a sullen, divisive and fractious figure at Old Trafford, just like Van Nistelrooy during his unhappy final months in Manchester. While he was still a very prolific centre-forward who scored 21 Premier League goals in 2005-2006, Van Nistelrooy started to become a problem to the team. The squad was going through a change, and instead of encouraging his younger teammates, it was perceived that he was undermining them, He was particularly very mean towards a very young Cristiano Ronaldo. On game days, United's fans had a glimpse of it. When Ronaldo dallied too long with the ball or tried too many tricks instead of playing the ball into the box, Van Nistelrooy would show his frustration. The majority of those spectators and a few of his teammates understood Van Nistelrooy's frustration, because the young Ronaldo was very annoying to watch, as he'd rather do his fancy stepovers and take people on rather than play in a team. However, Ferguson believed that Van Nistelrooy in particular hampered Ronaldo's and the team's development in general. Tensions between Van Nistelrooy and Ronaldo boiled on the practice field and in the locker room. In January 2006, after a derby loss to Manchester City in which Ronaldo was sent off, the two hurled insults and came dangerously close to punching each other in the locker room. Van Nistelrooy believed his young teammate was all style and no substance, and he had no qualm saying it to his face. Ferguson got fed up eventually and sold Van Nistelrooy to Real Madrid because he believed the forward was slowing the squad down and was beginning to have a negative impact on team morale. He then formed a new forward line with Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney and Louis Saha. Ronaldo started to develop into a top-tier forward almost immediately and eventually became one of the best players to ever play the game. Now, after so many years, Ronaldo is the one causing the problems, and maybe Ten Hag might handle the situation just like Sir Alex did, and let him leave the club in the winter transfer window. Even at this latter stage of his career, Ronaldo is still capable of feats Rashford can only dream of. However, the high-pressing, defence-stretching, all-action centre-forward that this United manager needs now was never a part of his game, even during the height of his career. Even though it was disrespectful, Wednesday night's petulance from Ronaldo didn't harm United. It somewhat overshadowed the victory to a degree, but if anything, it highlighted how, after being so dependent on his goals last season, they are finally beginning to look like a football team without him. Ronaldo did come out to speak about the incident in an Instagram post that didn't look like an apology in any way. He wrote, "I started very young. The older and most experienced players' examples were always very important to me. Therefore, later on, I've always tried to set the example myself for the youngsters that grew in all the teams that I've represented. Unfortunately, that's not always possible, and sometimes the heat of the moment gets the best of us. Giving in to the pressure is not an option. It never was. This is Manchester United, and united we must stand. Soon we'll be together again." He didn't apologise, but it looks like he's ready to cooperate and listen to authority. So what's the next step for Ronaldo? Well, as we see it, he has two options. Try and force a move in January, or be content with being a squad rotation player. Whichever way, one thing we all know is that Ronaldo will continue to score goals, and will retire as one of the best goal scorers the game of football has ever seen. He can also concentrate on making himself ready for the forthcoming World Cup. Winning the World Cup will undoubtedly end the Messi-Ronaldo debate, and cement his legacy as the greatest of all time. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you stand with Erik Ten Hag or Ronaldo? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section.